Alright, this is the passenger side of the Camaro. I had a little spot there, nothing, I can just wire wheel it out. Same here, it's a little hole right there. I'm not sure, do I cut this out and replace it, or do I'm probably going to cut it out and replace it. And then I'm going to see what I have here now. I just started hitting these now, I forgot to take a little video beforehand, but doesn't look bad. It is bubbled out right there, so that's probably going to be a hole. We'll see. So, yeah, as you can see, this is swollen out a little further right there. It's swollen out a bit, so I think I am going to make two little repairs. One here, one here. The rest of it looks pretty good. There's a little bit of Bondo in this car right here, so this might have been repaired before as well. What I do is just keep tracing back with the wheel here. If you keep seeing rust spots, you just keep going until you don't get all that cancer out of there, you know. That's all you can really do. And then there's some bubbling on the back quarter of this car too, and then this side's done, so two little patches here. Not going to be bad. I'm going to cut that out. Might as well. There's no point in leaving that. I could try to touch it, fill it with weld, but I'm just going to replace it. I did the same on the other side, so it didn't take me too long. The only thing is I'm out of welding. My gas is almost out. If you watched the last video, you know, and it's the weekend, I can't get any, but I'm going to try to get them tacked in, and then I'll have to finish welding it when I get my welding gas, my argon. So let's check out that back quarter now. Alright, so this looks like it's going to be the worst of this side. Quite a bit of bubbling there, a little bit there, a little bit there, but yeah, there's a lot of mud up in this car. It's crazy. But I guess, like I said before, these wheels just kick the tires just kick the mud right up in there, so what can you do? Alright, I'm going to take the grinder with the flapper disc and clean that up and see what we're left with. Alright, so not horrible, but it makes me wonder if should I just cut this whole piece out? I probably will. It's not that. I can leave the lip, which is pretty good still. It's all good and along here, so I can leave that. I mean, it is dented in. There was some body damage. Somebody ran over something at one point in time. Yeah, or do I just cut, I mean, it's just very small pieces actually, so I might, instead of doing the whole thing, I might just, yeah, do some patches. This is fine, I can fill that with weld. This is probably the same. This will probably be all cut out in one section, and then this little, just a little tiny sort of circle or square there. Very small. The lip wheel welds are good still. Yeah. So that's probably what I'm going to do, is a couple little patches. And so I don't have a lot of sheet metal here to play with, so I'd probably just do a few small patches and then be on my merry way. Typically save all my cutting discs when they get small. And then for cutting out little patches like this, these things they get way more precise cutting. So that's what I do. I save them all up. And then when I have to go in and cut these little patches out, it just makes life a lot easier to get the big wheel in there and you start over cutting and stuff. So yeah, that's just a little tip that I do. It's like I was saying with this car with the mud, look. It's all mud jammed up in here. No wonder it rots out. Yeah. So, yeah, that's cool. Look at it. It's coming out of there, look. A little tiny hole full of mud. Just packs itself in there. Pretty crazy. So I'll get as much out as I can here and from these other holes, and then I'll go in from behind here and get an air hose going and blow a lot of it out. It's insane. Huh. Tiny little thing. Full of mud. Look at that. Somebody was doing a lot of back roads driving with this car. A lot of spinning some dirt. That looks like rust, but look, it's all mud too. Isn't that crazy? Just muck. So, like I said, I'll get all of this out, and then I'll go in from behind and a lot more of it out, but that's like clay. That's like clay in there. Funny. I know this car spent all of its time in a small town, and back in the day when this car was driving around, it was all dirt roads, obviously. But holy, it's crazy. All right, that's the pile of dirt that came out of those little holes, and this also fell out. It must have fell in through the trunk. It is 1988. The Connection 88 Snowfest Peterborough Winter Carnival. Anybody from Peterborough, Ontario, Canada? And remember these? Remember this? There we go. The Connection 88 Snowfest Peterborough Winter Carnival Fun Fashions. That was in the trunk. Well, it must have fell in through the trunk and down into the rocker, the quarter panel. So there we go. Pretty neat. So I had to blow all that out with an air hose, because when you go in here, it's actually enclosed. You can't. It's double wall there. You can't just get into there. So yeah, I blew all that out with an air hose. So that's pretty. You wonder why they rust. That gets in there full of moisture and just sits there and rots away. Anybody's from the Peterborough, Ontario, Canada area and remembers that, it's a pretty cool little keepsake kind of deal. Anyway, these are the two little patches I need right here. Not too bad, just tiny little patches. The rest of it is pretty good. Just clean up with a wire wheel and fiberglass. So I'm gonna cut that out. Find some. I got metal. Got this scrap piece. I was trying to do some bead. I bought a cheap Princess bead roller a couple years ago, and I was trying to learn how to bead roll, and it was kind of wavy. So this is just a scrap piece of metal again, but it's perfect for what we're doing here. Look at that. That actually lines up perfectly right there with that cut I already have. So you don't get any better than that, right? So I'm going to trace that out, and I'll cut that out. And same with this. Just cut them out, and we'll have our patches. So that's our little trace pattern there. So when you cut this, you're going to want to cut inside, on the inside of this black line, because that's your actual pattern. Cut it out here, you're going to be too big. I usually cut it right on the line, and then I have a little bit of room to feather it off and play with it. And if I want to cut and butt it in, kind of deal. So that's what I usually do, is save a little bit. You don't want to cut in exactly inside, because you got to give room for the width of the blade as well. You know what I mean? So if you put your blade, you get that there? If you put your blade on the inside of the line, you're going to lose the width of the blade as well. So I like to put it right on the line, depending how fat your marker is, and depending how anal you are with it. Like I said, I like to leave it a little big to make sure I got the size, and then I can grind it back just as easy. So let me cut that out, trace this one, and cut that out as well. All right, let's see how well these fit. I'm gonna put a little magnet. It's hard to hold these, so I get a little. I want to get the magnets. These magnets with a handle on them, which would be really handy. So yeah, that fits pretty good. Doesn't fit too bad. I think what I would do is I would start tacking it here, because it fits nice level right there. And then I would just run the zip blade. It's a little tight right here on the end. And see, it fits really nice back here. Oh, you can get it to stay in. It should have a little bit of a crown on it, but I could bang it around a... Anyway, you can see back here, it fits really nice. Actually, it doesn't fit too bad. It's in there. It's not bad like that. It does need, it is under here, so I would have to slice this and bring it out a bit. So that fits pretty good. I had to clean it all up before I put it in. This side's a little rusty from sitting. Now, let's see how this guy fits. This one will be hard to see because of the magnet. Oh, look at that. It's perfect. That one worked out really well. So yeah, I'm going to turn the welder on. I'm going to tack that one because it fits so nice. And then we'll play with this one. Alright, so I threw a couple tacks where it was nice and flush there. Then I'm just going to bring that out. See, that's flush there now. So I'll hit that with a tack. And then we have this one little low area right here, which I'm going to try to... There we go. That's perfect. Perfect right there. So I'll tack that. Alright, so you can see how I got that gap right there, which is not a big deal. I can fix that with a welder easily just by triggering it. But I'm going to try the coat hanger just because I've been saying I want to try it. So let me get you set up in here, and I'll see if I can get this coat hanger. Let's see, I've never used the coat hanger before, and people say it's good. BADCHAD's whole logo, I think, is coat hanger, isn't it? Something like that. Well, I guess oh, that didn't stick. So you pull it away maybe before you... Doesn't seem to be working. I guess it works. Drop some material in there. So it gets that metal nice and hot, which I'm not a big fan of, but it did fill in the groove. Just left a lot of material. I'll show you. Of course, I don't know how to do it. It's my first time. It dropped a lot of material, but it filled in the hole, that's for sure. Alright, so I cleaned up both sides. This is the other patch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a bit of a crown. So I'm just going to hold it here, maybe on here. Yeah, I'm going to clamp it there, and then I'm going to whack it around. Give it just a small crown to make it fit nicer. Alright, so I've got that clamp there. So what I'll do is just... I'm going to have to use two hands because it's moving. I have to hold it. But anyway, you get to just tap down the edges all the way around, and it should round to that pipe. So kind of what I'm thinking is I'll just hold it, Yeah, tap down. Tap down. Let's see, I got... It's not easy to clamp stuff to round, I guess, but tighten up a bit more. Let's see what happens. So we got that. It's not going to work. I'm just going to try and hold it, I guess, and give it the best go I can. It's better than it was. The only thing is, when you're holding it, you don't get the clamping force. So it doesn't really want to bend as easy. So that's not really working. I gave it a little bit of shape, but not much. Alright, so it looks pretty good in there. I'm going to tack this. I'm going to tack down here first because it fits so nice down here. Nice and flush. And then I will work my way up, pushing it with a... holding it flush with a screwdriver or something, and then just weld from there. Yeah, that looks good there. So down there, so we'll start down there. Fits really nice there. I'm gonna hit it. What I usually round these corners off. Just fits in nicer too. You don't have to worry about it being tight in those corners and stuff. So usually on the repair piece, I say usually like I do this all the time. This is what I've learned in the last couple of patches anyway. Yeah. I talk like I do this all the time, but I don't. This is very rare for me. It fits really nice all the way up to here, so I'm going to hit that. Yeah. Pull that out. I should get it pulled out here. There we go. I'm going to hit it there, and then I can zip cut. That's a little tight, but it's pretty good right there. So I'm going to hit it there. And then I can zip cut through there. So that's really nice there. That's really nice all through there. It's got to be pushed in there. So I'll grab my little zip cut. Again, I like to use the little blades for stuff like this. You can just get it in there nicer. Yeah. The tripod's right in my way. Tell ya, it's not easy doing this, videoing this stuff when you're trying to do it. So I just give it a little cut there. And you can see that pushes in really nice and levels off. And then you can hold it and tack it. So it's the old cut and butt, they call that, I guess. Some people do the whole panel that way. I like to get it as close as I can, and again, I like to. New to me. But this is what like I said, it's the way I've been doing it. I don't have a lot of experience, but works for me. There you go, that's in there nice. That's really nice. So burnt a hole through here, so I'm just feathering it in, or triggering it in. Again, you want to distribute the heat around. You don't want to be warping stuff. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. Show ya. My tripod doesn't go. I gotta get a new tripod. This thing doesn't go down very low. It's as low as it goes right there. But that's, to me, you can see it's perfectly flat. That's a really nice patch. So I'm gonna keep going around it. I burnt a hole through there in the corner. These little gaps like this is nothing. You can use the coat hanger, I guess. I wasn't too impressed using that, but because you can just trigger your wire. Drop a bead, let it cool. Drop a bead, let it cool. It'll fill that right in, no problem. I got a couple little spots right here. I'm going to hit that with the welder. It's going to burn through for sure because it's thin, but then I'm going to try to keep filling it. Hopefully that works out. If not, I'll cut it out and patch it as well. But I'm really happy with those two. I'm going to continue welding on it until my bottle runs dry, because it is almost dry right now. It's basically sitting on 0. Yeah, it is sitting on 0. So I've got no gas left. I'm lucky I got those in actually. But yeah. All right, a couple more welded in. I'm gonna grind them down. I got that one pretty hot. You can see the bluing on there, but what can you do? All right, so that's what we're left with. There's that little dent there I didn't take out. Forgot about that when I was putting the patch in, but it's fine. Still mud coming out. Look at that. But I got most of it out, I thought. Got that one fixed and ground down. Looks pretty good. And then those 2 holes that were back there, I burnt out the bad metal just with the welder. Just kept tapping it until there was good metal, and then I welded it solid, and it seems pretty good. So I'm happy with that. Super happy with that. I'm not a body guy, like I said. You can see the low spots here. That little tiny piece I put in, I didn't crown that. I didn't put a curve in that. So there's going to obviously be filler anyway. I missed there's a few holes I got to touch up with the welder still. But other than that, I can grind this right off, because I did have a gap around this. I could grind this right off and get rid of this whatever weld is left here. But I like to leave, it's not going to matter. I got a bond to it anyway. It's not going to matter. And I like to leave more weld if I can, just to give it more strength, I guess, right? So yeah, I'm happy with that. Super happy with that repair today. And I'm completely out of gas. So the other 2 on the door up there that I started on, that's gonna have to wait till tomorrow. I get some gas tomorrow. So yeah, tomorrow I'll fix those 2. It'll be very simple repairs. Tiny little spots there. And then the car will be ready for some Bondo. I fiberglassed this. If you've been following along me, this car was side swiped there and there previously, and it was full of Bondo and it had all cracked, so I ripped it out, ground it down, feathered it off, put some fiberglass in it for now to stop it from the bare metal so it wouldn't rust. And I'll do a skim coat of body fill over this. And obviously the patches that I've done, I'll do body fill over. And then we're ready for paint. Sand it all down, figure out what kind of paint. And there's another victim of the side swipe. I don't know, years ago, I don't know how it happened, but I discovered it when I was sanding the car down. But anyway, other than that, a couple repairs in the bottom due to some field mice feces and urine and mud trapped up in the back and stuff like that. Other than that, the car's in good shape. Seems to run good and everything. It shifts a little hard. I might be the kickdown cable. I'm not sure. But that's it. Thanks for following along again today on my little patch repairs. And I hope everybody's having a great day. And enjoy yourselves. And Comment, like, subscribe. You know the drill. Have a good one.